Welcome to today's class on algebra. Today we continue study on unique factorization domain. So we start with the proof of the lemma. An ideal generated by P in a principal ideal domain is maximal if and only if P is an irreducible. So we prove this. Let D be a principal ideal domain and let ideal generated by P is a maximal ideal. In D. We are going to show that P is an irreducible. So suppose that P is equal to AB in D. Then the ideal generated by P is contained in ideal generated by A. Suppose that ideal generated by P equal to ideal generated by A. Then by the previous lemma, A and B are associates. A and P are associates. Then A and P are associates. Then B is a unit. If ideal generated by A not equal to ideal generated by P, we must have ideal generated by A. This is equal to ideal generated by 1. This is equal to D. Because ideal generated by P is contained in ideal generated by A and P is maximal. This is because since ideal generated by P is maximal. But A and 1 are associates because ideal generated by A is ideal generated by 1. But then A and 1 are associates. Therefore, A is a unit because 1 is a unit. Thus, P equal to AB implies either B is a unit or A is a unit. Either A or B is a unit. Therefore, P is irreducible. So what we have proved is ideal generated by P. If ideal generated by P is maximal in a principal ideal domain, then P is irreducible. Now we prove the converse. Conversely, suppose that P is an irreducible in D. Then if ideal generated by P is contained in ideal generated by A, we must have P equal to AB and if A is a unit, then ideal generated by A is ideal generated by 1, that is equal to D. If A is a unit, then ideal generated by A, this is equal to ideal generated by 1, this is equal to D. If A is not a unit, since P is an irreducible, B must be a unit. If A is not a unit, B must be a unit. Therefore, there exists a U in D such that B into U equal to 1. Therefore, P into U equal to A B into U. This is because B into U is 1. So that ideal generated by A is contained in ideal generated by P. You take this, you already have ideal generated by P is contained in ideal generated by A. You take that as 1. You take this as 2. From 1 and 2, ideal generated by A equal to ideal generated by P. Thus, if ideal generated by P is contained in ideal generated by A, then either ideal generated by A equal to D or ideal generated by A equal to P, ideal generated by P. And ideal generated by P is not equal to D or P would be a unit. So this implies ideal generated by P is maximal. So what you are getting is, if P is an irreducible, then ideal generated by P is a maximal ideal. So we prove this lemma. In a principal ideal domain, if an irreducible P divides AB, then either P divides A or P divides B. Proof. Let D be a PID and P be an irreducible. Suppose that P divides AB. Then AB belongs to ideal generated by P. Now, since P is an irreducible, ideal generated by P is a maximal ideal in T. Now, since every maximal ideal is a prime ideal, AB belongs to ideal generated by P implies A belongs to ideal generated by P or B belongs to ideal generated by P. So this implies P divides A or P divides B. So this proves the lemma. Now we prove this corollary. If P is an irreducible in a PID and P divides the product A1, A2, etc. AN for AI belongs to D, then P divides AI for at least one I. Proof. Let P divides A1, A2, etc. AN. This implies P divides A1 into A2, etc. into AN. So this implies P divides A1 or P divides A2, A3, etc. AN, since P is an irreducible by the previous lemma. Now P divides A2, A3, etc. An implies P divides A2 or P divides A3, etc. An. Proceeding inductively, we get P divides An minus 1 An, and this implies P divides An minus 1 or P divides An. That is, P divides A1 into A2 into etc. An implies P divides Ai for at least one I. So this proves that it's corollary. Now we define prime definition. A non-zero non-unit element P of an integral domain D is a prime if for all AB in D, P divides AB implies either P divides A or P divides B. So this is an example. Let F be a field and D be subdomain f x cube xy y cube of fxy. Then x cube, xy and y cube are irreducibles in D, but they are not primes. So we'll prove this. So in this example, you have x cube, xy and y cube are irreducibles, and you can express x cube into y cube as xy into xy, x cube into y cube equal to xy into xy into xy. You can write it like this. So this implies xy divides x cube y cube, but xy does not divide x cube and xy does not divide y cube. So this implies, so that is P divides the product A into B, but P cannot divide A or P cannot divide B. So this implies xy is not a prime. And we have x cube divides xy into xy into xy, but x cube does not divide xy into xy and x cube does not divide xy. Therefore, x cube is not a prime. Similarly, y cube divides xy into xy into xy, but y cube does not divide xy into xy and y cube does not divide xy. Therefore, y cube is not a prime. Now we prove this theorem. Every principal ideal domain is a unique factorization domain. Every PID is a UFD. So we prove this proof. Let D be a PID. Let A belongs to D. A is neither 0 nor a unit. Therefore, A has the factorization into irreducibles. Therefore, A has the factorization into irreducibles. A equal to P1 into P2 into etc. PR. So we have first condition for UFD. It has a factorization into irreducibles. Now it is enough to show that the condition 2, that is the uniqueness, is to be verified. So we have to show that the factorization is unique. For let A equal to Q1 into Q2 etc. Qs be another factorization of A into irreducibles. So you have two factorizations for A. So P1, P2 etc. PR is Q1, Q2 etc. Qs. From these two you can see that P1 divides Q1 into Q2 etc. Qs. Then P1 divides Q1 into Q2 into etc. into Qs. This implies P1 divides Qj for some j. So you renumber Qj's such that j is 1. So by changing the order of Qj, if necessary, we can assume that j is 1. Therefore, P1 divides Q1. This is obtained by renumbering Qi's. So this implies Q1 is equal to P1 into U1. And you know P1 is an irreducible, therefore U1 must be a unit. Since P1 is irreducible, U1 must be a unit. Therefore, P1 and Q1 are associates. Therefore, we have P1 into P2 into etc. into PR. This is equal to P1 U1. You replace a Q1 with P1 U1 into Q2 etc. Qs. You cancel P1 on both sides. So by cancellation, P2 etc. into PR is equal to U1 into Q2 etc. Qs. Continuing this process, starting with the Q2, we get 1 equal to U1 into U2 into etc. UR into QR plus 1 etc. into Qs. Since Qj's are irreducibles, we must have R equal to S. Therefore, the factorization is unique except for order and units. So that proves that theorem. We define the greatest common divisor GCD. Let D be a unique factorization domain and let A1, A2, etc. An be non-zero elements of D. An element D of D is a greatest common divisor of all of the AI if D divides AI for I is equal to 1 to etc. N and any other D dash belongs to D that divides all the AI also divides D. This means D divides AI for I is equal to 1 to etc. N means D is a common divisor of A1, A2, etc. An, and if D dash divides all the AIs, then D dash divides D also means D is the greatest common divisor. Now we have an example. Let us find the GCD of 420, minus 168 and 252 in the UFD set. So the method is to factorize all these numbers and to find a common divisor. So solution, First you factorize 420 to 210 to 105 3 35 5 7. Therefore 420 is 2 square into 3 into 5 into 7. Now factorize 168. Minus 168 is minus 1 into 168. So this is equal to, factorize 168. 2 is 84. 2 42. 2 21. 3 7. So it is minus 1 into 2 cube 3 into 7. Now you factorize 252. 126 to 63. 3 21. 3 into 7. So this is 252 is 2 square into 3 square into 7. So from these expressions, GCD is, so 2 square is common in these factorizations. So 2 square into 3 raised to 1 is common in this factorization. So 3 into, also you can see that 7 is common. So 7. So this is 4 into 3 into 7. So it is 84. So one GCD of 420 minus 168 252 is 84. Another one is minus 84, since 1 and minus 1 are units. In Z. Now, using the previous theorem, you can prove the fundamental theorem of arithmetic. So, proof the integral domain Z is a unique factorization domain. It's a fundamental theorem. Proof. We have all ideals in Z are of the form NZ. We have all ideals in Z are of the form NZ, that is the ideal generated by N, is a principal ideal generated by N. Therefore, Z is a principal ideal domain. And by the previous theorem, every PID is a UFD. So by previous theorem, every PID is a UFD. Therefore, Z is a UFD, being a PID. This proves the fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Now we define primitive polynomial definition. Let D be a unique factorization domain a non-constant polynomial f of x equal to a naught plus a1x plus etc. plus an x raised to n in d of x is primitive if 1 is the GCD of the coefficients a naught, a1, etc. an. That is, if 1 is the greatest common divisor of ai for I equal to 0, 1, etc. n. We have an example in z of x. You consider this 4x square plus 3x plus 2. You can see that GCD of 4, 3, 2 is 1. So it is a primitive polynomial. But you consider this 4x square plus 6x plus 2. You can see that GCD of 4, 6 and 2 is 2. Therefore, this is not a primitive polynomial. And observe that every non-constant irreducible in d of x must be a primitive polynomial. Now we define content. The content is defined through this lemma. If d is a UFD, then for every non-constant f of x in d of x, we have f of x is equal to c into g of x, where c belongs to d and g of x belongs to d of x, and g of x is primitive. The element c is unique up to unit factor in d, and it is known as the content of f of x. Also, g of x is unique up to a unit factor in d. Now, you consider this. In z of x, you consider 4x square plus 6x minus 8. You can see that this is not a primitive polynomial because GCD of 4, 6 and minus 8 is 2. Therefore, you can write 4x square plus 6x minus 8 as 2 into 2x square plus 3x minus 4. Then, since GCD of 2, 3 and minus 4 is 1, this is a primitive polynomial, and 2 is known as the content of f of x equal to 4x square plus 6x minus 8. So, if f of x is equal to 4x square plus 6x minus 8, then content of f of x is 2 here. Here 2 is the GCD of this, and this is g of x in this expression. It is the primitive polynomial. We prove this lemma. We prove this lemma. If d is a UFD, then for every non-constant f of x in dx, we have f of x is equal to c into g of x, where c is in d and g of x is a primitive polynomial. And this c is unique up to unit factor in d, and it is known as the content of f of x. And g of x is unique up to a unit factor in d. So proof, let f of x belongs to d of x be a non-constant polynomial with the coefficients a0, a1, etc. an. Let C be the GCD of ai for I equal to 0, 1, 2, etc. n. Then for each I, we have ai equal to c into qi for some qi in d. That is, f of x is equal to a0 plus a1x plus etc. plus an x raised to n, and that is equal to cq0 plus cq1x plus etc. plus cqn x raised to n. So this is equal to c into q0 plus q1x plus etc. plus qn x raised to n. So this is equal to c into g of x. where no irreducible in D divides all the coefficients Q0, Q1, etc. Qn. That is GCD of Q0, Q1, etc. Qn is 1. Therefore, G of X is a primitive polynomial. So, f of x can be written as C into G of x, where C belongs to D and G of x is a primitive polynomial. Now we prove that C and G are unique. Now for uniqueness, let f of x equal to D into h of x. For D in D, and h of x and d of x. And let h of x is a primitive. That is, we are expressing f of x as d into h of x, where d is in D and h of x is primitive. Already you have f of x is C into G of x, where C is in D and G of x is primitive. Then each irreducible factor of C must divide D, and conversely. Setting C into G of x as D into h of x, and cancelling irreducibles of C into D, cancelling irreducible factors of C into D, we arrive at U into G of x is equal to some V into h of x for unit U in D. But then V must be a unit, or we would be able to cancel irreducible factors of V into U, or we would be able to cancel irreducible factors of V into U. Thus, U and V are units. So C is unique up to a unit factor. So C is unique up to a unit factor. And from f of x is equal to C into G of x, that is equal to some D into h of x, implies that C is unique up to unit factor, implies G of x is also unique. This implies the primitive polynomial G of x is also unique up to unit factor. This proves the lemma. Now we prove Gauss's lemma. This is Gauss' lemma. If D is a UFD, then product of two primitive polynomials in D of x is again primitive. And applying this, you can derive the corollary by mathematical induction that if D is a UFD, then a finite product of primitive polynomials in D of x is again primitive. So first we prove the Gauss lemma. If D is a UFD, then a product of two primitive polynomials in Dx is again primitive. Proof. Let f of x equal to a naught plus a1x plus etc. plus an x raised to n and g of x equal to b naught plus b1x plus etc. plus bn x raised to m be two primitive polynomials in Dx. Let h of x equal to f of x into g of x. Let P be an irreducible in D. Then P does not divide all AI and P does not divide all BJs. This is because since f of x and g of x are primitive. Let AR be the first coefficient of f of x not divisible by P. That is, P divides AI for I less than R. P divides all the coefficients A0, A1, etc. AR minus 1. And P does not divide AR, AR plus 1, etc. Similarly, let BS be the first coefficient of G of x such that P does not divide BS. That is, P divides Bj for j less than s and P does not divide Bs. Now we consider the coefficient of x r plus s in f of x into g of x. Let the coefficient of x raised to r plus s in h of x, that is equal to f of x into g of x. This is equal to, you know that this is equal to some cr plus s, that is equal to a naught br plus s etc. plus ar minus 1 bs plus 1 plus ar into bs plus ar plus 1 into bs minus 1 plus etc. plus a r plus s into b naught. So this is the coefficient of x raised to r plus s in the expansion of h of x, that is equal to f of x into g of x. Now since P divides AI for I less than R, we have P divides A naught BR plus S plus etc. plus A R minus 1 BS plus 1. And since P divides Bj for j less than s, P divides A R plus 1 Bs minus 1 plus etc. plus a r plus s b naught. But P does not divide AR or BS. Does not divide AR or P does not divide BS. So this implies P does not divide AR into PS. So from this, P divides this, P divides this, but P cannot divide this. So P cannot divide the entire quantity, means P cannot divide CR plus S. This implies P does not divide AR into PS. So this implies P does not divide CR plus S. Therefore, for a given irreducible P in D, some coefficient of f of x into g of x is not divisible by P. Therefore, for a given irreducible P in D, there is some coefficient of f of x into g of x. Which is not divisible by P. Therefore, f of x into g of x is a primitive. So this proves Gauss lemma. Product of two primitive polynomials is again primitive. Now we prove this corollary. If D is a UFD, then a finite product of primitive polynomials in D of x is again primitive polynomial. Proof. Let f1 of x, f2 of x, etc., fn of x are primitive polynomials. So by the previous lemma, then f1 of x into f2 of x is primitive. Now f1 of x into f2 of x is primitive means f1 of x into f2 of x into f3 of x is primitive by Gauss lemma. So proceeding similarly, you can see that f1 of x into f2 of x into etc. fn minus 1 of x is a primitive. Therefore, f1 of x into f2 of x into etc. fn minus 1 of x into fn of x is primitive polynomial. So that is if f1, f2, etc. fn are primitive polynomials, then f1 of x into f2 of x into etc. into fn of x is a primitive polynomial. So this proves that corollary.